We get to have a little fun here in finding the surface area and the volume of three-dimensional solid objects. And the reason why I say they're fun is they're a little bit complicated, and there are certain formulas that we have for surface area and volume of three-dimensional solid objects. And frankly, I don't expect you to memorize these formulas. But what you do need to do is you got to be able to recognize what type of solid object you're talking about and then apply the formula to that object, and then you've got to recognize the certain parts of it. And because in the real world, you're going to have, if you got things that you don't do all the time, calculations that you might have for those of you that might be involved in that type of world, well, you got a file somewhere, whether digital or hard copy, and when you come to something, you just got to recognize, oh, I need to go to that file and remember what's going on. So here we have a cylinder, and I can see that we've got a radius. I've got a radius right here of 6 feet, and this 18 feet would be the height. So let's first go to the surface area. So surface area, S equals 2 pi times the radius times the height plus 2 pi times the radius squared. So let's see then, to find the surface area, we'd have S equals 2 pi times the radius, which is 6, times the height, which is 18, plus 2 pi times the radius, 6 squared. Let's see, I probably need to go to the calculator. All right, let's see, 2 pi times 6 times 18 plus 2 pi times 6 squared, which is 36. And if we were to round that to the nearest tenth, that would come to the surface area equals 904.8, rounding to the nearest tenth. And feet squared, so we got square feet. Don't forget your unit of measurement. Sometimes I do. All right, now for the volume. The formula for the volume is pi times the radius squared times the height. So we've got the volume equals pi times the radius. The radius in this case is 6 squared times the height, which is 18. All right, well, let's go here. So now we got pi times 36, 6 squared is 36, times 18. And that is, rounding to the nearest tenth, 2035.8. We're in feet, we squared it, that would be squared, but then we did times the height, that would be cubic feet. 2035.8 cubic feet. Well, what do you say we do another solid? Do you want to? Do you want to? Do I care if you want to? No, we're going to do it anyway. All right, so here I got another solid object. And I can then recognize that this object is a prism. And down here at the very base, I've got a base down here of 5.2 centimeters and 10 centimeters, length times the width. And we got a height. So this is the height, the 6 centimeters. This is the width, The 10 centimeters is the length. Now to find the surface area, it is the perimeter times the height plus 2b, and b is the area of the base. So we got the perimeter of the base, and we've got the plus the 2 times the area of the base. All right, this is going to be a little bit more complicated, but let's see. We got the surface area equals the perimeter. Now, what would be the perimeter? Well, the perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So I'm going to set that up. So I got 2 times the length. Guess I probably should put a bracket here. Plus 2 times the width, 5.2. And that is going to all be times the height, which is 6. And then we're going to have plus 2 times the area of the base, which is the length times the height. 10 plus 5.2, finish off this bracket. All right, so let's see here. We got 2 times the length. Well, that's going to be 20. And then we're going to add to that 2 times the width, which is 5.2. And so that's going to all total 30.4. And we're going to multiply that by 6. And so that part equals 182.4 plus 2 times the area of the base. So it says 10 times 5.2, which is 52 times 2, 104. So then when we add those two together, the surface area, put that in a different color since we're running out of room. So the surface area is equal to 182.4 plus 104, and that's going to be 286.4. Our unit of measurement is in centimeters, but let's see, I had centimeters times centimeters times centimeter. That's going to be centimeters squared. That would be the surface area. Now how about the volume? Well, the volume is equal to the area of the base times the height. Now we determined that the area of the base right here was 52. So we got the volume then is equal to 52 times the height, which is 6. And that should give us the volume. And that's 52 centimeters squared times 6 centimeters. So our unit of measurement is going to be centimeters cubed. 52 times 6 is 312 cubic centimeters. Well, I got to tell you, that's been so much fun. We're going to do another one. All right, well, this time, what kind of object do I have? What kind of object do I have? What kind of object do I have? I think I got the wrong formula out here. Maybe not. Yeah, I really do. I've got the wrong formula. I need to be using a cone. And I've got a regular pyramid there. Well, let me give us the formula for a cone. The total surface area, which we mark as T for a cone, this is not any good to us. That's a regular pyramid. We need a cone, is equal to pi times the radius times the length. And the length here is the slant length. We'll discuss what that is later. Plus pi times the radius squared. All right, so let's look at what we got here. Well, this 15 inches is the radius, and this 17 inches here is the slant length. So let's substitute in for our formula. So we got the total surface area equals pi times the radius, which is 15, times the slant length, which is 17, plus pi times the radius, which is 15 squared. Okay, well, let's see. We got pi times 15 times 17. And then plus pi times, well, 15 squared is 225. And if we were to round that to the nearest tenth, that's going to be, this total surface area is going to equal 15.08. You can put this in your calculator and verify it. 0.0. Our unit of measurements is inches we started with, but I got inches times inches here and inches times inches here, so it's going to be inches squared. Oh, I put cubed. It should be inches squared. All right. Well, now let's see. What's the volume of a cone? And again, I put in here a regular pyramid. We don't need that. I may be able to substitute it into the video. I'm going to try, see if I can. So the volume of a cone equals 1/3 times pi times the radius squared times the height. Now the height in this example is this 8 inches. To find the surface area, we use the slant length, but here we're going to use the height. So we got the volume equals 1/3 pi times the radius squared, that's going to be times 15 squared, times the height, which is 8. So let's put that in the calculator. And here's how I'm going to do that. I'm going to take pi times, well, 15 squared is 225, times 8. And since we're multiplying that by 1/3, I can just divide that by 3, same as multiplying by 1/3, and my volume is going to equal 1885.0, because I got 1884.9. We're rounding to the nearest tenth, and let's see. So I've got inches squared, so square inches times 8 inches again, and that's going to be inches cubed, cubic inches, 1885 cubic inches. Shazam! These are fun. Recognize your object, which I didn't do. I thought it was a regular pyramid when I first looked at it until I saw that circular base. So it's got to be a cone.